Okay. Now, can you see the screen? Just let me know. One of you
Yes,
unmute.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
okay, and my voice is audible, or
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
should
ma'am.
I need not to increase the volume, na?
No, no.
Huh,
A
then,
division, start entering your attendance. A division first in the chat box.
okay. Now, you can see on the screen that is midbrain. Last time we have studied, discussed forebrain, the first part, front part, that is forebrain. Now, the second part, that is the middle part, that is called as midbrain, and mesencephalon, that is also called as mesencephalon. Again, for the revision, I will come to the chart so that you will come to know that this is the what the classification. I'll revise again so that you will remember every time if I revise this classification, that is going to help you only. So nervous system divided into three types: central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, autonomous nervous system. We are going to start, we have already started central nervous system, which is divided into brain and spinal cord. Then we have started brain, that is encephalon. In that, three parts: forebrain, that is the front brain, front part of the brain, that is called as prosencephalon; middle part, that is midbrain, that is called as mesencephalon; and the third, last, backside, last part of the brain, that is hindbrain, that is called as rhombencephalon. Now, last time we have finished in the last lecture the first part of the brain, that is forebrain, that is prosencephalon. Now we will be starting today with the middle part, that is called as midbrain or mesencephalon. Now, with that, this where it is located, that is what we can see location, that is between the thalamus or hypothalamus
I
and pons
I
varoli.
संतरा ही है.
A pair of longitudinal
संतरा
bands of nervous
संतरा.
tissue
Just a
of the
minute, madam.
ventral portion.
Somebody's mic is on. Come on, mute
Yeah, even
yourself.
I
One
can
minute.
hear. Yes, those whose mic is on, please keep it off. Put the mic off. It's
I'll just
disturbing
find out.
everyone.
संतरा.
Madam, can you check whose is this? Just announce
Yes,
that.
I'm just checking. Checking. This Gauri Katul. Gauri Katul, switch off your mic.
Sorry, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, now switch it off. Continue, can madam.
Yeah. Okay. Now the middle part of the brain, that is called as mesencephalon. Where it is located? It is located between the thalamus, or you can say hypothalamus, and pons varoli. Now you will come to know what exactly it is pons varoli when I show you the diagram. A pair of longitudinal bands of nervous tissue of the ventral portion of the midbrain are called cerebral peduncles or crura cerebri. See, these are a little bit different and difficult names, but you have to learn, that is must. So whenever I will be telling, you just note it down or write somewhere or underline that in the textbook if it is that you find it. So crura cerebri connect the cerebral hemispheres with the pons. That with the help of diagram I will show you. See, this is the location in the diagram. You can see that which is circled here. So this is what called as, this is the location of midbrain, and here is the thalamus, hypothalamus part. And this part, yellow, blue colored part, which you can see, this is called as pons varoli. Okay, so in the next diagram, you can see the exact location which is shown by red color. Okay, so this is the mid part of the brain, that is called as midbrain, and its size is very small. Now, in this diagram, again, you can see very clearly that is the diencephalon, that is the last part of the forebrain, where here is the green colored, little lightish green colored part, that is called as midbrain, and this is the pons varoli. This part here is the pons varoli. Again, in this diagram, in the another angle, another view, that is, this is the midbrain, thalamus, and pons, where you need to remember the location. And one more thing, that is, here is the location between the diencephalon, that is the last part of the diencephalon, and then midbrain, and then pons varii, which is the part of hindbrain. And this gray matter is inside and white matter is outside. Now again, you remember, see, every time whenever I'll be taking that each part of the brain or subparts, you need to remember and note it down. Very what you can say, that is going to help you in the classification. Okay, so this mesencephalon is showing two parts, that is called as corpora quadrigemina and the another as crura cerebri. Just now I mentioned that name. I'll tell you the function and everything. So corpora quadrigemina, that which includes optic lobes that is present dorsally, that is the back side of the midbrain, whereas ventrally in the front part, that is cerebral peduncles are present, which are known as crura cerebri. Okay, so these are the scientific names you need to remember always. Sometimes for MCQ or such type of questions, this is very important to know that what it is. So midbrain shows two parts, that is dorsally corpora quadrigemina, which shows the presence of optic lobes, whereas ventrally the front side, cerebral peduncles are present, which are known as crura cerebri. Now, with the first again, that is corpora quadrigemina, which is present dorsally, just now we discussed. Its superior part is known as superior colliculi, which is related to visual reflex. Visual is what? Just now we studied optic lobe, which is related to vision, that is visual reflex. So superior, that is superiorly, that corpora quadrigemina shows two parts again. Superiorly, that shows visual reflex, that is called as superior colliculi, whereas inferiorly it is related to auditory reflex, that is called as inferior colliculi. And that is considered, this corpora quadrigemina is considered to be the relay center for motor impulses. Now you know we have studied different types of locations, areas, right? Motor area, sensory area, and associated area. So what is the main function of the sensory? To sense, receive the uh, message from different sense organs, and motor area is generally associated with the movement, the name itself suggests. So both visual reflex and auditory reflex is related with the motor impulse, means whatever the movement of the vision, that is eyeball you can consider, and auditory, maybe it is related to head, movement of the head, which is related to the auditory reflex. So this corpora quadrigemina, which is present, which is a part of midbrain, that is considered to be the relay center for motor impulses. Now again, we'll discuss the position, that is below diencephalon I showed in the diagram, above pons, those bulging structures I showed. So in between pons and diencephalon. Diencephalon is the last part of the forebrain, and pons varii or pons is the front part of the hindbrain. So in between the forebrain and hindbrain, this midbrain is present, and this is also considered to be the first part of the brain stem. I will show you what exactly brain stem is in the next diagram. Now, how it looks, what is the structure? It is short, narrow, stalk-like structure with white matter outside and gray matter inside. Though it looks like a stalk, that is the only front or the anterior or superior part of the brain stem, first part of the brain stem. Now, what is the role and how it looks? That is corpora quadrigemina, that is dorsally pairs of rounded bodies are present. They are called as corpora quadrigemini. That is a part of midbrain, present dorsally. And as we discussed just now, upper part that is called as superior colliculi, and lower part of the corpora quadrigemini is called as inferior colliculi, because it is located superiorly and this is located inferiorly. So now in this diagram again you can see here, this is the entire structure shown here in this red colored part, whereas this is the corpora quadrigemini, where you can see this is the superior what you can say, superior colliculi, and this is the inferior colliculi. So you can see these bulging structure very prominently, which are present superiorly, and inferiorly they are little bit smaller one. So these bulging structures, they are called as colliculi. So the this corpora quadrigemini, you know the meaning of quadra means four. So four parts you can see, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 2 these bulging structures, that is what superior colliculi, and the below one inferior colliculi. So the entire structure dorsally it looks like this. Dorsally because it is present, isn't it? Dorsally this quadrigemina, corpora quadrigemina is present. Now the functions of this midbrain. It is considered to be the relay center for all impulses going away from brain. That is, going away means the part of this which initiates, starts from where the brain, the messages and everything, that is a part going away from the brain. I will show in the next diagram again. Superior colliculi, that is related to the visual reflex with movement of head, that both are related to the movement of head. So that's why that area is considered to be motor. Motor is what? Movement of head that affects the vision, that is related to visual reflex, where superior colliculi that shows the optic lobes. Optic is what? Related to vision. So all visual reflexes, all the actions, the movements related to the movement with relation to the movement of head, they are included, or they are controlled by the superior colliculi of corpora quadrigemini of what? Midbrain. And this inferior colliculi, these all actions, auditory reflexes, these are related with the movement of the head. With the movement of the head, whatever the auditory reflexes, that means listening, hearing, okay, these are all. That is why this is called as auditory reflex, or the area, that is auditory area, that includes inferior colliculi, includes the auditory area. Remember. Now here the next part which is present ventrally, that is called as crura cerebri, that is considered to be the relay center for all impulses going away from the brain. Okay, here crura cerebri is related to the impulses, that is the relay center for all impulses going away from the brain. That is the thick band of nerve fibers which connects cerebrum, cerebellum and spinal cord. Now try to understand, don't get confused here. Cerebrum is the part of what? Forebrain. Cerebellum is the part of hindbrain, which continues in spinal cord, right? So this is considered that crura cerebri, which is present in front side, that means ventrally, that is nothing but a thick band of nerve fibers. What is that? That is the thick band of nerve fibers which connects cerebrum, cerebellum and spinal cord. Try to understand again, I'll repeat. Cerebrum is a part of forebrain. Cerebellum is the part of hindbrain, which in is connecting the spinal cord. Okay, so this is what considered to be the thick band of nerve fibers. So the superior colliculi controls movement of head in response to visual stimulus, and inferior colliculi controls the movements of head in response to auditory stimulus, which we have already discussed. Now, so both the parts we have discussed about the hindbrain will revise again once we finish this hindbrain part. Both the parts we will revise. So hindbrain, that is also called as rhombencephalon. So hindbrain means nothing but rhombencephalon. That is also called as rhombencephalon. This is again the revision of this chart where we have finished forebrain, prosencephalon. Just now we discussed midbrain, mesencephalon. Now we have come to the next part, that is the hindbrain. Hindbrain contains cerebellum, pons varoli, and medulla oblongata. Now, what are these cerebellum, pons varoli, and medulla oblongata? We will discuss now. See here. Again, this just is the revision I just showed you. So, hindbrain, probencephalon shows three parts, that is cerebellum. Don't get confused between cerebrum and cerebellum. Cerebrum is a part of forebrain. Cerebellum is the part of hindbrain. And structures again I will show you separately in one diagram. Okay, so cerebellum is also known as metencephalon. Cerebellum is also known as metencephalon. Then second part is pons varoli, and the next third part, that is called as medulla oblongata, that is called as myelencephalon. So cerebellum is metencephalon, medulla oblongata is the myelencephalon, and pons varoli. Now we'll discuss one by one and see these locations. Okay. See this bulging structure in the previous diagram which I showed you, that is called as pons, and the openings vein-like structures that we observed in the previous diagram, that is called as pons varoli. So this structure which looks like a fan, like this is what called as pons, and then which in continuation this stem like structure or tubular structure, that is called as medulla. Okay, and this is what you can see the backside, totally behind backside of this brain, that is called as cerebellum. Again in detail in the next diagram we'll see. See, this is what pons, this is the pons, this is the medulla oblongata. The entire structure is called as medulla oblongata. Medulla is the superior or front or initiating part. Okay, whereas this structure which is considered to be the second largest part of the brain called as cerebellum, maximum area is occupied by cerebrum, that is the part of forebrain, and next to that second largest part of the brain is considered to be cerebellum, which is the part of hindbrain. So remember, this is pons varoli, medulla oblongata, and this is the cerebellum. Now this is, as I said, this is also called as little brain. This is included, the entire structure is shown here. And what is that brain stem? Brain stem is nothing but it starts from the midbrain and it ends outside the brain, which continues in the spinal cord. Okay, so this is the cerebellum, and this is the brainstem continuation with the medulla oblongata. So cerebellum will start with, this is little brain, the second largest part of the brain, consists of two cerebellar hemispheres and a central vermis. Now try to understand. Just like cerebral hemispheres, here these are cerebellar, because it is called a cerebellum, right? Cerebellar hemispheres. Hemi means half, spheres means, rounded structures. So half rounded structures. So two half rounded structures, half rounded parts of the cerebellum, they are called as cerebellar hemispheres. And a central vermis. Vermis is what? Little bit fissure type structure. Little bit fissure. That is called as central. It is present between these two. So that is central vermis, that is called as. Here you can see again each cerebellar hemisphere that is shown by this red color structure, that is cerebellum. Each cerebellar hemisphere consists of three lobes: anterior, posterior, and the floccular lobe. Okay, this is the anterior, this is posterior, and this is floccular lobe. We will see one by one. See, position is behind fourth ventricle. You just remember right now what is ventricle. I'll explain in the next part. Okay, just remember that it is present below the ventricle. Below occipital lobe. Below occipital lobe. Just now we discussed, right? In the midbrain. And ventral to medulla oblongata means ventral to medulla oblongata means what? Medulla oblongata is present on the back side and it is present on the front side. So this is what the position of cerebellum. So description you can remember as second largest part of brain, which occupies 11% of the total of the brain by weight. It's made up of two lateral cerebellar hemispheres and median vermis. Median is the middle one. Okay. And these folds are called as folia. These folds are called as folia. And it shows the presence of arbor vitae. What is that arbor vitae? I will show you in the next diagram. Okay, just remember these names, that it is considered to be the second largest part of the brain. It weighs total 11% of the total weight of the brain, that is made up of two hemispheres, lateral hemispheres called as cerebellar hemispheres, and which connects in between that is present the fissure like structure, that is median vermis, that is called as median vermis, and the folds are called as folia, and it shows the structure as arbor vitae. I'll show you what exactly it is. Okay, see here. Arbor means small tree-like structures or branches of the trees. They are called as arbor, arbori or arboreal. Arboreal means branches of the tree. That is a Latin word. So arbori or arbor means the branching of trees. So it looks like branches of trees. So that is the branching tree-like structure or core, central part. That is core of the cerebellum. Inner white matter is called arbor vitae. Vitae means vitam, or that is related to life. Life, vitae or vital. That is what? Living. Vital is what? Living. So vitae, that is life. So it looks like a tree of life. So its name is called as arbor vitae. So can you see this branches? It looks like a branch of tree, isn't it? All these, when you take the transverse section, when you take the section, not transverse, when you take the section vertically, then you can see such type of branches of tree like structure. Okay, so and if you see inner part as white, that is inner part is made up of white matter that is covering the gray matter. So outside it is gray, inside it is white. So white branching is called as arbor vitae. That is called also called as tree of life. Vitae is vital, that is living, that is life. Arbor is branching of tree. Arboreum or arbor, that is what related to branches of trees. So small tree like structure or branching of tree like structure. Okay, so the arbor vitae is surrounded by cerebral cortex. So whatever the cortex is always outer structure. So cortex is made up of gray matter and medullary part. Inside cortex, whatever the branching like structure which is made up of white matter. You can see here, this is what inside white matter, that is arbor vitae, and outside it is gray matter. So cortex is made up of gray matter. Now this is what the actual brain looks like, and it is shown here, these cerebellum, two hemispheres, right? So this is what cerebellar hemispheres, and this is the median fissure, that is the median, what it is called? Vermis. Okay, so these two are connected by this median vermis or central vermis. Okay, and what are the functions? It coordinates voluntary muscular movements. You know the meaning of voluntary and involuntary, right? Voluntary means which are under control of our will. They are called as voluntary. Involuntary means which are not under control of our will. They are considered to be involuntary. And you have studied last year different types of muscle fibers, and which are voluntary, which are involuntary. Isn't it? Different types of muscle fibers you have learned. So it coordinates. What is the main function of this cerebellum? That it coordinates voluntary muscular movements. All the muscular movements. You know now what are more voluntary? Whatever the movements of limbs, spatially. These are all the parts of the body parts which are under control of our will. Not all, not internal organs, but the external body parts. You know that is muscular movements, limb movements. So central for controlling and coordination of locomotor movements and equilibrium. Locomotor, that is location, means changing the place. That is what locomotion. With the help of motor is movement. With the help of this voluntary type of muscular movements, these are the centers which control as well as coordinate these locomotory movements, and also its equilibrium. That means with the help of coordination, that is maintained, equilibrium is maintained. That means it is balanced. It is balanced. This how it balanced. This controls the activities like walking, running, walking, and even speaking. All these muscular movements of muscles, they are controlled and coordinated with each other. Means if you are not there is no coordination, you can't walk properly, imbalance will be there, then you may fall down. Even in the running, if your body is not maintained in that state, then you may fall down. So whichever type of work you are doing, that there also that coordination and control is always. Even in case of speaking, whatever we speak, our muscular movements in the mouth muscles, they are also very important, playing the and that role is controlled by cerebellum, this part of the cerebellum. Okay, so this is one more diagram you can see very clearly. That is the last part, cerebellum, and here the anterior lobe, here is the posterior lobe, and this middle part, that is called as vermis. Okay, this is the vermis. Okay, then here again is one more diagram where very clearly it is shown that here these are the two pons. These are called as pons, and here if you see this structure, the entire structure, little bit it looks like a stem. So it starts from here, brain stem, from the midbrain, and then pons, and then medulla, and this oblongata, that which in continuation is with the spinal cord. Okay, so this is what the structure of brain stem. Again I will show you. Now, the next part is pons varoli. Just I showed you in the diagram. Pons varoli, what is the position? That is the second part of brain stem. What is the first part of the brain stem? As we discussed just now, I told also that is considered to be the midbrain, which ends midbrain. That is the first part.
Pons.
Pons is the second part of the brain stem. But brainstem starts, as I said, brainstem starts from the midbrain itself, the inferior part of the midbrain. Crura, you do remember, just now I mentioned in the previous part of the midbrain. So that is the first part. Midbrain is considered to be the lower part of the midbrain is considered to be the first part of brainstem, and this pons, these bulging structures, these are considered to be the second part of the brainstem. That is present. Where it is present? It is present below midbrain. Okay, and above medulla oblongata, that is the tubular structure as I showed, that is medulla oblongata. So bundle of transverse nerve fibers, it is nothing but it's a connecting link or connecting part between the cerebrum and medulla. Okay, then white matter is present outside and gray matter is present inside. In case of this pause, little opposite part, like in case of cerebellum, gray matter is outside, white matter is inside. Here in case of pause, you can see, remember that white matter is outside and gray matter is inside, and it has fourth ventricle. Now all the types of ventricles I will explain in the next part. Okay, because until and unless it is shown, you will not understand. Just remember this right now. Now, what are the functions? Nerve fibers connect cerebellar hemisphere. Whatever the transverse nerve fibers are present, as I said, they connect cerebellar hemispheres. Two hemispheres, half round structures present in the cerebellum. So they are called as two lateral cerebellar hemispheres. So these two lateral cerebellar hemispheres are connected by nerve fibers. So it connects cerebrum with medulla. Then actually it should be cerebellum, not cerebrum. Cerebrum is a part of the forebrain, but it is, though it is in continuation, but it's this one, cerebellum and medulla in continuation. It is the relay station between the cerebellum, spinal cord, and rest of the brain. Relay station between cerebellum, that is a part of hindbrain itself, and the next part next to brainstem, that is the last part of the brainstem, it is in continuation with the spinal cord. So it is considered to be the relay station between the cerebellum and spinal cord and rest of the brain. It has pneumotaxic center. Now try to understand pneumo word. Taxis is a taxic is what the type of movement. Now which type of movements? What is that center? Pneumo is what related to lungs. Okay, where the lungs are present? Lungs are present in, that is a part of respiratory system. So what is the role of lungs? That is cleaning of the air. That means whatever the deoxygenated air is received by the lungs, there it is purified. So purification of the air is done, and then oxygenated uh, right blood is then this thing sorry, the oxygenation of this air is done. So pneumotaxis, that is a part of respiratory system, the lungs, where the exchange of gases here, especially control, it is considered to be the control center for the lungs in the sense inhalation. It induces it controls the inhibited air, that means inhalation. It controls the inhalation in the sense that the air which is taken inside during the respiration. When the air is taken inside, if maximum air is taken inside, obviously more amount of CO2 will be taken inside. So that is controlled by the pneumotaxic movement by this part. Okay, so it controls the respiratory muscles. Obviously, muscles are playing the present in the respiratory system. They are helping in this control over the inhalation of the air, the way air which is taken inside. And wherever that is required, then that movement means if fast breathing is required in different activities, in that case then maximum amount of air is taken inside wherever and whenever it is required. So that control is done by this center. That's why this is called as pneumotaxic center. So it controls respiratory muscles for inhalation and exhalation of the air. Wherever it is required, maximum air is taken. Whenever it is required, less amount of air is taken as per that. Now the next part is what? Medulla oblongata. That is the last part of the brain. That is, it looks like the tubular structure, and it is below pons. That means bulging structure, below the bulging structure, and then above spinal bud. That means that this medulla oblongata, which is the tubular structure, it gets in continuation into spinal cord. So that is present above the spinal bulb and below the pons, that is a part of hindbrain itself. So below the pons and above the spinal cord, that is the last part of the brainstem. It is how it looks. It is short, hollow, conical structure, and it has roof as posterior coracoid plexus, where it has fourth ventricle along with pons. Now, as I said that fourth ventricle is present along with the pons, that I will explain in the next part, where I will we will discuss the ventricles only. And it has 8 pairs of cranial nerves, from where 8 pairs of cranial nerves arise, from where? Medulla oblongata. And you know what does that coracoid plexus means? That is nothing but the network of blood vessels, blood capillaries of brain, that are responsible for the production of cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, try to remember, or if you can write it down there in your notebook also, that coracoid plexus is present. Roof has coracoid plexus. That means what? This medulla roof, that is what? Posteriorly it is present. It is showing coracoid plexus, that is nothing but the network of blood capillaries or blood vessels, you can say, of the brain, which are responsible for the production of CSF, that is cerebrospinal fluid, and specially that provides as a toxin barrier to the brain, which offers to the, which actually is related to nervous tissue. That means cerebral central nervous system. Okay, that is related to central nervous system. Remember that this roof has posteriorly coracoid plexus, and coracoid plexus is nothing but the network of blood vessels or network of blood capillaries of the brain responsible for the production of CSF, that means what, cerebrospinal fluid. So where cerebrospinal is fluid is produced, and also it provides a toxin barrier to the brain. Means if toxic substances are present, it works as a barrier. They are not allowed to reach the main parts of the remaining parts of the brain. So in this way it is performing a very important role, right? Now what are the vital functions centers and what are the reflex centers? So these are very important functions of this, the entire hindbrain, that is especially that medulla oblongata part also. That is, first is what, cardiac. Vital means all very important life functions. That is cardiac center. Cardiac center, it is considered to be the cardiac center where the circulation of the blood as well as the cardiac movements, the movements of cardium means what, heart, the movements of heart, these muscular movements, what are these, cardiac muscles. So cardiac muscles, the these movement of the cardiac muscles, these are controlled. That is considered to be the cardiac center. Then respiratory center, as I said just now, that coracoid choroid plexus, that is responsible for as respiratory center, means this respiration, these respiratory muscles, they control the respiratory movements, inhalation and exhalation of the vascular movements. Motor is what, movement. Dilation means increase in the diameter of the blood vessel, where then because of that the amount of blood which is carried, its flow is more. And vasoconstriction is what, constriction of the blood vessel as per the requirement. So that is what vasomotor center, that is also very important function of this hindbrain. And gastric center, so all these gastric activities are also controlled by this vital center. Now the reflex centers, what are the reflex centers? Swallowing, sneezing, coughing, vomiting, hiccuping, all these reflex actions, these are under control of hindbrain, especially that medulla oblongata part in coordination with the cerebellum. All the parts, cerebellum, pons, medulla oblongata, in coordination they work. They are considered to be the vital centers for cardiac, respiratory, vasomotor and gastric movements, whereas reflex center for the swallowing, whatever you eat, swallowing, sneezing, if something goes in the through the air, through the in the nose, then automatically you sneeze, right? Coughing, the same. If it goes ahead again, that coughing, it reaches over there. Then vomiting, then hiccuping, all these reflex actions are controlled. That's why this is called as reflex center for the of the brain. Now, this entire structure is called as brain stem, which initiates from midbrain, then pons, and then medulla oblongata. So midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata together, this entire structure is called as brainstem. So medulla oblongata joins the spinal cord after emerging out of the cranium through the foramen magnum. See, that means what? This stem, as I said, this stem part, this tubular part, in continuation, this medulla oblongata, last part of the hindbrain, it continues with the spinal cord. So it joins the spinal cord after emerging out of the cranium. Cranium is what? Brain box. It comes out of the brain box and it joins to the what? uh, spinal cord. So it is called as it emerges out. This part emerges out of the cranium. Cranium is what? Brain box through the foramen magnum. That is what the area tubular structure. That is foramen magnum. And the brain stem is responsible for the functions such as breathing, heartbeat, and blood pressure. As I explained just now, breathing, that is respiration; heartbeat, that is a muscular movement. As we discussed, that it is considered to be the cardiac center, and the blood pressure, that is, as I said, vasomotor, that is the related to the blood vessels. So blood pressure is also maintained. See, these are very, very important functions where this brain stem in coordination with all midbrain, pons variouli, cerebellum, and medulla oblongata. Cerebellum is not part of the brain stem. Only this is the midbrain, pons, and the medulla oblongata. That is what called as brain stem. Remember. Okay. Now I will revise again so that I will not take the next part, but I will revise where you can see everything about the midbrain. This is the classification. Now this is midbrain, what it is called, mesencephalon, located between the thalamus, or you can say diencephalon on the pons variouli. This is the location shown by red color. So this is between the midbrain is present between the diencephalon and pons variouli. This is what variouli is, nothing but this opening. Okay, this is what, and this entire structure is called as pons, bulging structure. That is pons. This is shown the entire structure as brainstem. It is initiating here from here. That is what brainstem. Hmm? So thalamus, midbrain, pons, and medulla. Midbrain, mesencephalon divided into corpora quadrigemina, including optic lobes, and crura cerebri, that is cerebral peduncles, ventrally. Again, corpora quadrigemini, superiorly related to visual reflex, inferiorly to the auditory, that means hearing, and it is considered to be the center for motor impulse, position, and structure. So corpora quadrigemina or gemini, that is what rounded bodies, four rounded bodies you can see, two upper, that is superior colliculi, lower inferior colliculi, as I showed these bulging parts, colliculi, superior and inferior colliculi. And as there are four, quadrigemini, corpora quadrigemina. Relay center for all impulses going away from brain, and crura arbori, that is also the impulses going away from the brain, and that is nothing but the thick band of nerve fibers, and which is connecting cerebrum, that is the forebrain, cerebellum, and spinal cord. Now hindbrain, again you can remember the parts as cerebellum, pons, variouli, and medulla oblongata. So hindbrain, where cerebellum, these are the parts very clearly shown in this diagram. This fan-like structure called as pons. This is the medulla, which in continuation stem tubular structure continues with the spinal cord, and this structure is second largest part of the brain called as cerebellum. All these parts, just remember, recollect very clearly. It is shown, so you can remember it is the largest part of the brain, cerebellum. Total weight is 11% of the total weight of the brain, made up of two lateral cerebellar hemispheres. This is arbor vitae. I explain what exactly it is. Internal structure, it looks like this. Outside it is gray matter. Inside the branched tree-like structure that is called as arbor vitae. Very clearly it is shown here. These two cerebellar hemispheres joined by vermis, which coordinates with all voluntary muscular movements. So it controls the movements and also coordinates, and equilibrium is maintained. Pons varoli, nothing but the bundle of transverse nerve fibers which connect cerebrum and medulla. That is the relay station between cerebellum, spinal cord, and rest of the brain, related with some vital activities and reflex activities, vital actions, reflex actions, very important. And this is what everything about. I will now stop here. If you have any doubt about the uh, anything, whatever you have doubt about whatever we have discussed, you can ask me.